I want to talk today about Indian Sheitels. I remember when this issue came up, it was over 20 years ago. By the way, this Cheshvan is getting 20 years of the Kollel, a special Rosh Chodesh Suda. But I remember it was before we started the Kollel, and I was learning B'chirus with Kaganov. And we spent like 2 weeks trying to figure out what was going on with these Indian Sheitels. And like it was Erev Shabbos, and my wife had a Sheitel that said made in India on it, you know. And I couldn't figure it out. Can I leave it outside the house? Can I bring it in the house? I know what's with it. So I just, Friday afternoon, I burnt the Sheitel. It was like a whole matzah with all the kids in Kfar Ivri, whoever knows Kfar Ivri. So it was a whole matzah, right? Okay. Afterwards, I had other thoughts about everything, but it was certainly, okay. In any event, we're not talking now today about the Sheitel say made in India, yeah? Because made in India, you have less studim over there, made in India. I want to talk today about the Sheitels which are made here in Hungary, or where else they make Sheitels in Ukraine, between the bombs, and China, India. Oh no, India. That's what about those Sheitels where there's a good chance they're getting hair from India, right? Maybe yes, maybe no. And what about the hair from India itself? So Baruch Hashem, Rabbi Kalani did some research for us. I was hoping he would print it out, but maybe it's better he didn't print it out. Because it's very interesting. There's a lot of steers in this information, right? And he got from various 4 or 5 different sources. But I'm going to go with the temple themselves, right? Because, what is it called? Neman Adam Atzmo Yosmei Eidim, right? What?
Even the David Dabber. They gave all the money.
Well, yeah, I don't. They're not. What? No, it's their website. It's their website. No, on their website, right? Just explaining. It sounds like it's translated from Indian because the English is like very, very poor. They just use Google Translate. But he says basically like this. So it starts off by saying, symbolically by getting rid of your hair at the Chupati temple, which is what we're talking about, you get rid of your bads or sins and become eligible to visit that pilgrimage site, which is basically how Rebelsky is taking on. There's no avodah zarah at all. It's just like going to the mikvah, or the Shamis cut off their hair as they get married. The Chasam Sofer says because of the tummy, the tumor comes over here. That's what it sounds like initially, right? But then as you read on here, if your computer works, 1 second. Hindus offer many reasons for this. One is to thank their gods after getting what they wanted. As they pray, they offered hairs with happiness. And the second is after losing someone. Okay. And then they say there's also that they're sacrificing their ego, and they're so it seems to be like not so clear exactly. It seems to be not so clear exactly what are they doing this for? When are they doing it? Right? In Rosh Hashanah's tshuva, he takes on pashut that it's just for money, right? And it's not really about that. And there's two people involved here. There's the nikaf and the makif, right? The guy's cutting the hair, right? Oh, so the makif is the one really who should be the main kaveya, right? That's what Rosh Hashanah takes on. But L'maisa, since we have a reboy in the Isra of Pez Harosh that also includes the nikaf, so Rosh Hashanah says it's Torah's chumrah, yeah, that we have to mitchashev with their thoughts. Yeah. We have to think,
They don't charge. They don't get money. They don't get paid. They don't charge. They don't pay.
First of all, they get tips. It says here they get tips.
The
barbers get tips, right? But they get paid by the temple.
They donate it to the temple. They say straight out on the website.
Okay, but they understand that it's all a thing. The barbers, right? Are you sure they don't get paid by the temples? Some of them definitely said they're getting paid.
The barbers get paid by the temples. The barbers.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
So people give you the hair.
They got anything. Right? That's how it works. It's the biggest scam in the whole world. There's like 450 million tons of hair. What? Right, but they don't. The people, right? The people who are cutting don't have kavanah for avodah zarah. That's what I'm talking about. You can see it on the sheets there at the end. They have kavanah for avodah zarah.
The people that are giving
they might. They not. It's not clear. There's different. It's steers all throughout.
Maybe it's just to cleanse themselves.
Here, Rabbi
Maybe both.
Aaron Rieti said maybe it's a korban chatas. Yeah, maybe it's a korban chatas. Maybe it's an oiler. Maybe it's a shomim. Or maybe it's just going to mikvah.
Doesn't matter which one it is. All of them are besides mikvah.
No, well, yeah, but it sounds more like from the beginning way he says. It sounds more like it's just.
We went back from Google Translate.
What?
We went back from Google Translate from India.
He's saying that they did it to get rid of their sins and things, and to get rid of their ego. Okay, whatever it is. Look, it's at least a Safek. There's at least a Safek over here. What? And okay, one second. This is the Matthias. You're not going to get more than that. You're not going to get clearer than that. Number one. Number two, Rosh Sternbach, who's the Rosh Machmir over here, is very Machmir about this. Yeah, he himself says it's Begeder Chumrah. Right, that's number two. And number three, I had a long conversation with David Morgenstern. Yeah, and he told me that when they were working on this, they locked him out of Bel Yosef. They would not let him speak to Bel Yosef about it.
Why?
What?
Why?
I won't say why. I don't want to say why. But Hamev and Yavin. Okay, whatever it is. Look, it could be nobody knows. Yeah, but it's at least we get ourselves about his own. I think that we could say. At least we get. I don't think you can say that it's body either way. I don't think you can say it's body not about his own. You can say it's body is about his own. They are saying it. No, Rosh Sternbach is taking on, one second, Rosh Sternbach is taking on the Dover Pashut that the barbers, no, it's not about his own.
You went to India?
What? He's basing it on somebody who trusts him. Yeah? Who trusts him. And Lamaisa, there's definitely a mashmos from that over there. Right?
I think
And look,
all should go on a trip to India.
At the end of the day, it's the truth. The truth is they're doing it just for money, right? More or less, It's some crazy story about a cow who committed suicide. I don't know exactly what, but so the truth is, like 2 months ago, I went to find a Shabbos boy, and he was from India. So I tried talking to him about it. Like they have no idea what's going on. So I don't think there really is a way to find out the Mitzvahs here.
Were you talking to a
Hindu. Yeah. Okay. In any event, I'm just saying we're starting the sugya.
These Israeli guys, it was in the army, who went to India.
No. This was a real Hindu Indian. Yeah. Anyway, okay. In any event, if you want, you could take a look at that. Okay. But that's not what I want to speak about here today so much. Yeah. Although, because it doesn't sound like you're going to do much better. Yeah. Maybe you could do a doctorate in Hindu religions and go there and interview 1,000 of them, and maybe kulihai v'ulai, you'll get more clarity, but probably not. Okay. In any event, what I want to speak about today, really, which I meant, there's a couple of things I want to speak about. Hopefully, we'll have some time afterwards about in general the whole. But I want to speak about today more because the truth is, in this sifter, there's not so much really halach l'maisa really to get your hands on here, yeah? Because you have the Chorah and the Chaper, yeah? You have the Chorah, the Shach, you have a steer in the Rama, which many pshatim are offered, yeah? And in the Achronim, there seems to be a certain gisha, a certain direction, yeah? I saw something very interesting. Rav Berkowitz writes, he doesn't like the Shach, thinks it's not a great pshat in the Rambam, and therefore he goes with another Mahalach, but I thought that was very interesting, right? But, okay, Ma'is, I want to speak today more about the gisha to the sugya, and how you're supposed to learn up a sugya, right? And, right, even if it's not necessarily going to bring you directly to halach l'maisa, yeah, but you have to have everything a point clear, right? When you're learning Gemara, you have to have a point clear, and when you're learning a Rambam, you have to realize that the Rambam is very, very, he wrote every word very carefully. Okay, so that's what I want to really work on today. L'maisa, we have a Gemara in Zvachim, right? We have Machlokes and Rav and Shmuel. How do we deal with Bittul Avodah Zarah in general? And then the Gemara brings a right. So I want to say this, Machlokes Rav and Shmuel is really a Machlokes Tanoim here. I'm in the first paragraph, the first Tanaf. So the Gemara brings Machlokes about Rimoni Baden, right? These pomegranates from Baden. So Rav Yehuda Amar Rimoni. Okay, one second. Before that, even. Okay. Shmuel finishes off by saying, Hanach Lavodas Kochavim. Sefeka, and sofa olam. That's a very interesting line. What does that mean? Ad sofa olam, right? So Bashkaf Rishona, which my Rosh Yeshiva of Sikur Shalevsky said is always wrong. Yeah, Bashkaf Rishona, I would say it means Sefeka, Sefeka. That's what I would have said it meant. Yeah, that's what it means. But we'll see. It's not so simple to say that. Okay, so that's what by Avodah Zarah. So now we say it's really Machlokas Tanoim, right? We have Machlokas between Rav Yehuda and Rav Shimon. Rav Yehuda Amar Riboni Badim Asurim B'Kolshu Keitzad Nofel Echad Mihan L'Toch Ribuya. One rimo in a baden, which is asur, falls into 10,000. Yeah, ribuya. And ribuya, it's 10,000, 20,000? 10,000, right? 10,000, right? Ruvavos is 20,000, right? It's plural. So, lamaisa and ribuya. So, one in 10,000 and then another one in 10,000. So, both of those are asur. Okay? And then Rav Shimon says, Rav Shimon Yehuda Amar, Rav Shimon, ribuya asurin, ribuya l'shalosh, or mishalosh. Oh, 1 second. Sorry, ribuya asurin, ribuya l'shalosh, mishalosh l'makam acher mutar. So it sounds like from Rav Shimon, right? It falls into one tarovos, that's ribuya, and then to 3, and then to another 3. If it's 3 tarovos, it's mutar, right? Now, what does Rav Shimon hold about? What does Rav Yehuda hold about 3 tarovos? Can anyone tell me? Is 3 tarovos asur or mutar? Well, you said asur. L'chor, right? L'chor, that's what it says. Asolim. Yeah? Right? So, it's very interesting to note, right? Okay, 1 second. It's very interesting to note, yeah? It's very interesting to note that the Radvaz, if you saw the Radvaz, The Radvaz on the Rambam says, the Rambam who says 3 tarovos is mutar, Rambam is passing like Rav Yehuda. That's what he says. Yeah, very interesting. Rav Berkowitz was very, very much Mishabech, this Radvaz, he says it trumps the Shach. Yeah, excuse me if using that word here. But Lamaisa, okay, so so there's a couple of questions here, right? And I'll tell you, when I opened up this Gemara and we started learning, my first question was, this Gemara is an absolute pella, right? We're trying to be mochiach. Rav Yehuda holds that 3 is asur, or sofa olam. Rav Yehuda says that 1 tarov is asur, 2 tarovos is asur. Doesn't speak about 3 tarovos. I wouldn't be medayik that 3 tarovos is mutar. Yeah, like apparently the Radvaz did. Yeah, l'chor it's a pashta the diuk. Yeah, right. The next Gemara says, the next shita is according to Rav Shimon, 1 tarov is asur, 2 tarovos, 3 tarovos is mutar. Right, right. But if that's true, then what's the machlokes between Rav Shimon? Right. In other words, l'chor Adam is right. Rav Shimon holds, Rav Yehuda holds 3 is mutar and 2 is asur. So what does Rav Yehuda hold? L'chor holds 3 is asur. Right, but why do you only? How does the Gemara know that? How did the Gemara figure out from Yehuda that that 3 would be asur? And it doesn't even sound like that. What? I know, but Rav Yehuda made a statement again. The Gemara is setting up sheetels, right? Tonight, Rav Yehuda said, 1 second. Yehuda said, Ribuya is asur, Ribuya is asur. That's it. That's all he said. Don't go about 3. So how do we know that? How did the Gemara figure it out? What? So how does it know that? The price is not saying it though. It should at least say 3 is asur. It doesn't say it. It's ikar chosim and a sefer. It's ikar. Just accept the question. Right? Accept the question. It's a pashta kasha. Yeah. It only says 2. It doesn't say 3. And the word's saying not only 3 is asur, but ad sofa olam forever. Yeah. Right. It should say ad sofa olam. At least add those words. Right. So that's ready. A kasha. One kasha. Red light. Yeah. Now, what I really... The Gemara is saying it's Tanai. We have Machlokes Rav and Shmuel saying it's Tanai. And ad sof olam. And then the Gemara brings a proof from a brayso which says 2 is asur. Okay. Kash. Okay. Number 1.
Just because the Gemara text no difference between Sefeka and Sefeka.
It's fair. Because when we bring Rav Yehuda Rav Shimon, he talks about 3. And Rav doesn't talk about 3. Okay. Accept the kasha. Accept the kasha. You can argue when I'm finished, but when I'm in the middle, it's not going to argue. Okay. Now, what really made me happy over here, right, is Rashi. Yeah, like my Rosh Yeshiva said. So you learn also, you see all the Rishonim, and then you understand what Rashi was saying, right? Rashi says in Pshat, in Rav Shimon Bar Yehuda, that 3 is mutar, but after you have 3, then 2 is also mutar, right? So that's very interesting. How did Rashi know that, right? I mean, Rashi, he fasted 613 times before he wrote his Perush on Chumash, right? So imagine on Gemara, right? When I read in one of these books that Rashi, there was a Masorah in how to learn the Gemara. Rashi just didn't think of everything. But, Lamaisa, How does Rashi know that the second one is mutter mafreya? Where did he pull that out from? There's no remez to that l'chayra in the Gemara. There's a lot of red lights over here, right? So Lamaisa, like Harus and I came out with the following mahalach, which is mamish, and this is, I think, how the Radvaz is learning. Yeah, although we're going to take it one step further. Lamaisa, if you look at the Gemara only says that Sefek is asra ad oil, right? It doesn't say Sefek is asra. Yeah. Now, what's the machlokus between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon? The machlokus between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon is, do we say the second Sefek is mutter mafreya? That's the whole machlokus. Everybody agrees that 3 Sefekas is mutter. Yeah, everyone agrees with that, even Rabbi Yehuda, right? The whole shaila was, after you have 3 Sefekas, does the second one become mutter? And that's what Rashi says. Yeah? And that's what the Gemara is talking about. The Gemara is only discussing Sefeka. It's not discussing Sefeka. After you have the third Sefeka, the second one's mutter. That's Rav Shimon Shita. Rabbi Yehuda argues on that. Right? Yehuda argues on that. Okay? So that's the Machlokes, and that's how the Radbaz is learning in the Rambam. That's how we know 3 is mutter. Right? That's what we know 3 is mutter, and 2 is asr according to that. Right? You hear it? Does anyone hear this? Yeah? It's half like a pshat. There's only one problem, is it's mufkin gansen. There's a raya muchrachas against everything I'm saying. Which is what? Oh, very good. 50 shekels for... somebody want to write something? Yo, Moshe.
That's so follow-up could be the second Taruvos.
Okay. So now, I'm going to tell you something. I told you this before. I only saw my Rosh Hashiva left to get up 2 people in the world, right? One was Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, and the other was from my Charusa, right? He comes across very humble, but he's very, as humble as that's how brilliant he is. He wanted to say like this. The truth is, I wanted to say something similar, but he said it much nicer, yeah? And I spent like half an hour trying to explain this to Simcha Nuremberg. He kept arguing with me. Just listen very carefully, because it's a Havamina, not a Miskah, right? What's the pshat at Sofom? When it falls into the third Taruvos, right? So now, l'chor, we have a tliyah, right? And this l'chor, how Rashi is going to learn. When it fell to the second Taruvos, the first Taruvos is asr, it's chasik yisur, right? That doesn't count according to 3. The second Taruvos, right? There's one in there, right? So there's a Taruvos of its chasik yisur. By the third Taruvos, we could say it's not a chasik yisur anymore. Why? Because maybe it fell in the second one, maybe it fell out of the second one, right? So that's l'chor how you can learn. Third Taruvos, l'chor, that's found in Rabbi Yehuda and Rav Shimon. Yeah?
The second one is for sure.
What? It's not for sure, but just like it fell in, it fell out. Kabbalah kach palta, right? It came in, it came out. Okay, now, what happens when it falls into a 4th Taruvos, right? So, l'chor b'ashkaf rishona, 4th, 5th, 6th is not going to make a difference. Yeah? But tiny Rabbi Eisen like this. Yeah? Rabbi Harris is Rabbi Harris. Listen carefully to this cheshbon. I think it'll be nana from it. Right? Okay. He said like this. When it falls into the 4th Taruvos, so now I have 4 possibilities where the Isser could be. It could be still in the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. When it falls into 5, I have 5 possibilities. Falls into 6. As Torah's Havamina, I would have it start to say, maybe more Taruvos is more Star Mahat. Right? Just one finish. Let me finish. Don't interrupt me. Right? 6, 7, 8. Right? So now there's only a Havamina to explain the Lashon of Atzofol. Right? It can fall into 100 Taruvos. I have 100 Stadim now. Maybe it's here, maybe it's here, maybe it's here, maybe here. That's the Kamash Malan of Rabbi Yehuda. Right? The second Taruvos will never be mutter, even if there's a, like we used to play this game with the stone, it goes like this, and like this, and this. It's going, you have a lake with things, and you're bouncing, from one Taruvos to the next. Okay, that's the same one. It's not such a good example. But, okay, Kamash Malan, that's Ad Sofo. And Mamela, this is the machlokas for Yehuda. It's like min chomer and Rashi. Because where does Rashi know that the second Taruvos is mutter? The answer is that's the whole machlokas. The whole machlokas for Yehuda Rav Shimon is about the second one. And it's Meduik in the Gemara. The machlokas is about Sefeka. By Sefeka, everyone agrees. Yeah? And that's how the Rabbah knows that 3 Sefekas is mutter. Right? And it's how, if you read it, mamish every word is Meduik in the Gemara.
No, you need to have me like that.
What? No. We're answering that question. But Torah's Havamina, I might think, if it goes into 100 Taruvos, right? Jumping like this. Now I have, remember the Rajba, Roastan and Mahakel. I have more studim here now. At least B'Torah's Havamina, right? Right? It's not here, it's not here, it's not here, it's not here. It could be here, it could be here, it could be here, it could be here, right? B'Torah's Havamina to tell me, and so forth. Now remember, the Radbaz definitely learned something along these lines. Because the Radbaz says the Makor of the Rambam, that 3 is Mutter is Rav Yehuda. Look inside if you don't believe me. It's there on the sheets. Yeah? The Makor of the Rambam Shita, that 3 is Mutter. It's not about Girses. My Rosh Yeshiva told me this, and I heard it also now from Rabbi Eisen, from Rav Schwab, the brother of Shimon Schwab. He said there's no such thing as a Machlokes in Girses, you could learn that, maybe the Beis Yosef. The Machlokes is in Havanas of Sugya, and based on that, that's how they learn the Sugya. Not if 2 or 3, this one had this Gemara, this one had Suchino, and this one had Hard Skull. It's not about that. Yeah? It's about Havanas of Sugya. And this is the Machlokes between Yehuda and Rav Shimon. Yeah? And Mamela, that's what. How did the Ram get a Shita? From Rav Yehuda. Ram's passing like Rav Yehuda. Right? Yes. Yeah.
That statement was said in Shmuel that they're inside.
Right. It is Psak. It won't help. No matter how many times it falls in, the second one is always going to be Asr. Right? And it's so Meduyak. The Shaila is about Sefeka. There was never a Shaila about Sefeka. Right? There's never a Shaila. Sefeka will be Asr. It falls at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20, 100.
What does it change in the second one?
It's a Havamina. Right? You have to know how to learn. There's more studim now. There's more studim where the Isser could... One second. First of all, say back to me what I said, and then I'll listen to you.
Okay, you're saying that...
Not me, Rabbi Eisen, what he said.
Okay, he's saying that every time there's another Safek, it's a place that's adding more reasons.
More studim. The Rashba learns roast studim.
Need this.
Yeah, okay, right. And Kamashma not. Okay, so what's wrong with that?
That to me doesn't make sense.
Okay, why not?
We're doubting the first...
No, you have to argue L'Shitaso. I want to teach you an Hilda's argument. We're going with the Rashba. Rose Stadim Lahaka. We have more Stadim here now. Kamashwan, that's not Stadim. Now, how are you arguing with that? It's no side to say it's more Stadim.
In the second subject,
yeah?
When you add another time to say that it's over there, it doesn't change the Matthias of the first subject.
Yeah, but it's not about Matthias. I want to tell you something. I want to tell you about Matthias. According to Yehuda, 1 in 10,000, 1 in 10,000. What are the chances when I take from the second Taruvos, I'm taking the Isser? Very, very small. Like 1 in a million, right? It's still Asr. But according to the way the Ram is learning and their Gadbaz, the third one is Mutter, right? It's nothing to do with studim. It's nothing to do with percentages. Sfeik is not about percentages. It's Rov Studim Lahakim. And you have more studim.
How does this to the case of Rab, right?
Right. Two Sefeka makes 2 Sefekas. That's what it means.
The case of Rab does not have a third subject.
What?
That's not the case of Rab.
Rab only is answering. The Machlok and Rab and Shmuel is only about 2 Sefekas.
Yeah.
Sefeka will be also out of hold. 3 Sefekas everyone agrees with.
Are we saying Tanai?
What?
We're saying Tanai.
Yeah, Rav is like Rav Yehuda. The whole Machlok between Rav and Shmuel is only about 2 Sefekas, not 3. Not about 3.
Rav is based on sex.
Yes, that's what comes out.
How is it Rav Yehuda?
What?
How is it Rav Yehuda?
I just been explaining that for 10 minutes. I'll do it again. Yeah, Rav Yehuda is only asking 2 Sefekas, not 3.
Rav is talking about 2 Sefekas.
L'mafreya is 2 Sefekas mutter or not? Rav Yehuda holds no, and Rav Shmuel and Shimon says yes. Think about it, and get back.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
So we're saying like this, that the whole machlok is between Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda is only the Gabi second Taruvos. Everyone is masking the
right.
3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, the all good.
Right.
So the second Taruvos, it's fine. It could be that's a everybody on the studio, but now we want to say that
Rashi and the Rambam. Yeah.
Right, the Rambam passes the Rabbi Yehuda passes the second Taruvos.
Yeah.
And that's why only the 3rd one.
Right.
But the Gabi Avodah Zarah, which is what Shmuel takes on, like what you the Gabi.
Okay, we're not up to Avodah Zarah yet. Right now, we're only talking about Rabboni Badi.
No, but I'm saying it's just so schwer because the whole sugya is better. Shmuel holds it Rabbi Yehuda, right? And
okay, Simcha Nierenberg answers your question. We have 50 shaggos from him. You have to wait till we get there. He has an answer. He's going to answer your question. If you hear what he says, he's answer your question. Okay, there's another dig in the room. Okay, so that's one. And I was so happy with this because, like, where does Rashi pull this out of his sleeves that the second Taruvos is mutter? Like that's where did it drop down from it? Shamayim, like let's see this. It's mamish haflofel. Okay. So now the question is, before we get to
I understand this question very much. The clapping is second softer.
You are talking about logic. Sfek is not about logic. It's not about percentages.
People go from the second one to the third one. That's my suffix.
1 second.
The fact that when they went from the third
That's
one,
your suffix. But obviously, but look, the Radbaz learned the sugi like this, and we're trying to answer up. The Radbaz, just like Shmuel spent a long time, he gets a lot of credit for answering the Taz, because L'maisa, halach L'maisa, we take on like that. You have to give it to him, like if you want to be a Rav, you can't just like be making everything, to get thrown out. You have to go, the Taz, right? So, right, and he has good tinus, L'maisa, right? But look, you could, in any time you ask a question, you could say like this, or you could say like this. I'm telling you a different way to phrase it, which your question is not a question. But you're saying, but you could phrase it like this way. The way to phrase it is that you still have more, and it's only a havamina, you have to understand. Yeah? People learned in yeshiva too long, they forget this. There's such a thing as a havi. It's a valid havamina because there's more studim where the answer could be. It could be here. Until I've learned this to be not true from the Gemara, I could say, we have now 4 Taruvos, or 5, or 6 where it could be.
Not in the second suffix, even if it goes into the third suffix, that could be another 1,000
Right.
suffix.
6. Once I have 6 studim, that's more reason why I didn't make the second one. Because maybe it's in the 6th one. Maybe it's in the 6th one. No, because 7 is more, and 8 is more, and 10 is more.
No, suffix is always 7.
What? He's telling you. What?
He doesn't say that Safek Asra.
Right. It'll keep going. Okay, think about it. What I'm coming to today is just when you learn Gemara, you learn Rishonim, think. I heard once, I was in, was actually entering 20th year anniversary of the Suki Shmaitz, where I learned as an Avreik. And was it from Rav Abayit Bagan, the Rav there in the Grosh? Was it? Anyone? What? No, he's not there. He just has his own shul. There's another Rav. I forgot his name. There was a tacharud and Rav Israel lost. Someone else got the position. Rav Heisler, I think maybe. Heisler. Anyway, whatever his name was, he said, "Don't ever believe what anybody." Rashi says something, don't believe it. Yeah, Rashi said, ask a question. Who says? Why should I believe Rashi? Yeah. In other words, not b'chutzpadik. Where did he get this from? How does Rashi know that the second one is mutter? He must have known. He didn't make it up. Yeah, he must have known it. There must be some hechroch to say it. And if we were saying it's half of a fellow. It's mamash half of a fellow. Yeah, and it's coming from the Radbaz. The Radbaz says Rav Yehuda. Sounds like Rav Yehuda. Third one is mutter, right? Okay. Now the Radbaz learns that the second one is us, by the way, right? But it's machlokas. Not everyone learns like that. And I want to show you now that I think the Rambam.
One is shadow, or everyone
What?
agrees Asr? First one stays Asr.
First one, everyone agrees Asr. The second one, the third one, after the third one is mutter, then the second one is also mutter. Which, by the way, it's also makar of the machlokas. We've shown it much more. Because Tosfos has these answers. Yeah, it's really this or that. The second one, everyone agrees the second one is mutter somehow. Just the question is, how do you get there? Okay. Now, Lamaisa, if you look in the Taz, right, which he had a bone to pick in the sugya, but the Taz says, right, the Radvaz also says, if you look at the beginning of Anav Beis, I brought here, the Radvaz says that 2 for sure is also according to the Rambam, and the Taz also says that. Interesting, Sir Kari, okay, right? But Sfirole Taro Sheni Nisha Bistro Velo Commotion B'Shem Rashi, right? Now I want to just show you something very interesting here in the Rambam. Test through Yud. Just let's read it together. It's the second paragraph here in Anav Beis. Yirli Shekol Davar Shu Chashav Eitzel B'nei Makam Mina Makomos. It goes Yiperach Moni Baden B'Chulei Asa B'Kolshu Vich Shivusai. Osazman, Belusker Elul Elafisha Asuran Kolshain B'Kol Makam B'Uadin Kol B'Shar Makomos. Zerbar Baro Shekol Yisur Midivrei. Okay, that's true. So now, did anything happen yet in Halakha Tes? There's no Taruvos. All the Rambam said was that it fell in that Rimoni Baden or Asr B'Kolshu, and it goes Yiperach. Now, then the Rambam in Halakha Yud says Nafal Rimon Echem in Taruvos Hazos. I scratch my head, In the Halakha Tes, he didn't talk about anything falling into a Taruvos. And he starts Halakha Yud with with the Taruvos.
He says that 9 is Akoch talking about Taruvos.
Yeah, okay.
What are going to be bundled with if they did fall?
It didn't actually speak about something happening. Okay, that's okay.
What's also the Deah?
But okay, what?
What's also the Deah?
Okay, that's what the Ram. He didn't. He's not. He hasn't told you a mice yet. Just balance. Yeah. Okay. So now, but okay. Every day I've said there's something happened. Something happened in between Tess and Yud. The blank space. Some guy came and threw a remote body. Okay, let's say like that. Okay. Now, nafal echmen teros hazos l'shnei rimonim acherim. Rimonim banim. Rimonim acherim. Right? They're different rimonim, not the same ones. Okay. Why is that? I would just say stay rimonim. What do you need acherim for? Okay. V'nafal min hashlosh rimon echad rimonim acherim. Again, they're not the same ones as the second Taruvos. Ha'elu acherim mutarim. Shaimunim shel Taruvos rishon but the barov. Right. V'im nafal min haTaruvos rishona rim alel kol nasra. Which ones are these rimonim acherim? Right. One second. Well, yeah. He didn't call the first Taruvos Roman Acherim. He doesn't even mention it. He doesn't say anything about it. But when he talks about the second and the third Taruvos, yeah, he says, L'shnei rimonim acherim, v'nafal men hashlosha echad rimonim acherim. Ha'elu acherim mutarim. Right? So which is the acherim that are mutarim? Right? Sha'irimun shel Taruvos rishona batal barov. Right? So which are the acherim? Elu, these acherim. Right? He doesn't say the last one. He calls them acherim. Elu acherim. What? The second one also. That's what I would say. Right? And I was very happy. I saw the Meister Okeach learns the Rambam like this. It's Maklokas Rishonim. How to learn this Rambam. Right? But Al Kol Panim, Lefi this, if in Kenim Advarim, is that Rashi and the Rambam aren't arguing. They're both learning this like this. They're both passing like Rosh Shimon, and they're both saying that 3 is mutter and 2 is mutter l'mafreya. Okay, Keno lo, it doesn't make such a big difference, to tell you the truth, because as somebody pointed out, Ola pointed out, right, Avodah Zarah is anyway mutter by 2, right? The Rambam takes on. So it's not going to help us too much, and we're trying to figure out, like with the Sheitels, maybe you sell it to a third. We spent like an hour trying to figure out a case where it would be nafkamina. I don't think there's really nafkamina, right? But it's just nafkamina is pshat. What? Now the Rambam was learning. What?
Why is it enough?
No, the nafkamina would be after your mat, the third one, the second one mutter, right? But by Avodah Zarah, the second one's mutter anyway. The Rambam's meko by Avodah Zarah, right? Okay. So now we get to the Shiloh. So why, right? And if you look in the Franco Rambam, there's a whole column of Achronim to speak about this. Yeah, there's a whole column of Achronim to speak about why Avodah Zarah is 2 and 3, and it's what they call in English counterintuitive. You know counterintuitive? You know counterintuitive?
It's
The Rokeach actually asks what he said. How could Avodah Zarah be more mekel than Davar Chashiv, like Meich Tesi? But Lamaisa, so Avodah Zarah is 2 and there's 3. So everyone has an answer for this, right? And Lamaisa, what is the base Yosef tying over here? What? No, that's a Shach, right? The base Yosef has some answer. What does he say? Yes, the what? It doesn't say what. But he obviously, the truth is, the base Yosef is the most glad over here because he just is machmer. He says, I don't understand, so he just takes out. Right. He's like, Rav Kaganov once told me an important klal. He said, if there's too many answers, it means they're all dochik. Right? They're all dochik. And he said it actually about Yemei Muvucha. But anyway, we'll get that. What? The Gon, the Gon. Like there's a lot of Achronim going in this Mahalach, right? But before that, the Shach says there's a difference between Hanoah and between Achila. He brings it from a wolf, right? When the base measures. It's a nice teretz, but like Mechetesi. Mechetesi to say that's such a difference. You could say 100 chiluk. It's true, normally Hanoah is more mekel than Achila. But who says that's pshat? Things have to be mukhrach, right? To have a hefrach, right? As one second, I want to tell you. Rav Shiva said once, there's 3 types of pshat in the Rambam, right? He said Rav Chaim is onus. He said the Or Sameach is b'fateh. He says most of the other ones are motzi shema, right? We're not saying that about the shach, chos v'sholom, But I'm just telling you, I'm reading here from Rav Berkowitz's from Dvar Malaktim. He said Rav Berkowitz didn't like the shach, and he says you should go with Red Vas. Okay, now Berkowitz is not going to be so quick. I'm just saying, I'm not chas v'sholom. The shach, we're like dust underneath his toenails, right? But if you're, we're here to learn, not just to like malachet cheetahs. Not. I was at the Chas, I was at Shabbos on Shabbos at Dor Malachtim, yeah? And he's a good friend of mine. I said, I love your Sefer. It's great, Baruch Hu. So I don't like the name. You just ruined the whole door. It's a Dor Malachtim. It's not shy. So he said, I called it that name so people shouldn't quote it. They should look everything up. So I was very happy. Okay. But the point is like this. The point is that, as Shlomo Zalman was mentioning, right, and quite a few Achronim, the Chovas Das, and others are taking this mahalach, is that Lamaisa, Rimoni Bottom is a Davar Choshev, and when we get to Sif Gimel Dal Hey Vav Zayin Bezrat Hashem after Chagim, so we'll see Kavua. A lot of the Dvarim Chashuvim are also because of Kavua. That's the way the Chacham Salam learns, and that's the Chor Pashtus in the Sugya. It's a din Kavua D'Rabbanan, right? That's true by Rimoni Bottom, but by Kos, it's not necessarily true, right? Now it's true, it's also B'Kol Shu, and it seems like there's a big chakir in the Rishonim. Does Kol Shu make Kavua? Does Kavua make Kol Shu? Right? But there's at least a sad to say here that Avodah Zarah, it's not Kavua, right? And by Ramoni Baran is Kavua. And that's why 1 is 2 and 1 is 3. It's like it's so pashut and it reads so well into this. But there's an even better way, and this is for Simcha Nuremberg, because we were hacking a long time, but this is fun. Yeah. When I first heard it, I said, it's not a diuk. And it was wrong, because it is. I see all the Gedolei Achronim are saying this diuk, including the Prima Godin and the Even Ezer. Yeah? The Rambam says Pirish. You have a Otzamali Kosas of Adazara, and it's Pirish, and then it falls into something else. The Pirish already takes it out of the Kavua. Now, we don't know enough yet to understand this well, because there's a whole din of called the Parish Menuah Parish, and you can't take from the Parish, and you can be Kavua, and when you can, it's confusing. After the Chagim, we'll get back to this.
Rashba doesn't read that, the Gra doesn't read it.
What?
That whole part.
Right, but the Rambam says Pirish. He says it's Pirish. And L'chora, that's a very stark way. A lot of Achronim say that's Pshat, in the Rambam. And the what's it called? The Prima Gun says like Luli Mistafina, and I wouldn't say it, but he says it anyway. Right? Someone says like Luli Mistafina means like I'm going to say it anyway. But the point is like this. That's the point. The point is that it's not Kavu anymore. Once it's Pirish, it's not Kavu, and that's the reason. So Be'etzem, this is Olav's question, right? So what 3 and 2? No, because there's something intrinsically different here. The Gra says it's because of Lo Yidbak, Avodah Zarah, right? The Shach actually learns, no, not the Shach, I'm sorry. The Levush is very interesting machlokas between the Levush and between the Gra, right? The Levush says, Lo Yidbak, for sure, 3 Taruvos, it's also mamish. There's no way to matter. It's a Chazik Yisrael. And the Gra says, no, Lo Yidbak, it's Avodah Zarah. You have 3 Taruvos, it's not called, it's Nidbak anymore. It's not B'chlal Lo Yidbak, it's not like a Davar Chashav. Anyway.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm not getting you. What's the difference between Pirish and Nafalech and Nafalech?
No, because it's 2 stages. If it goes directly from the Taruvos 1 to Taruvos 2, then that's called coming from the Kavua. But Pirish means like it officially separated. I don't know, the guy who cleaning the Avodah Zarah Otzer, like
it's Pirish, is that it's not?
Yeah, so it's 2 stages. Right? It's like with the basar, and you find in front of the chanut or in the chanut. Okay, so that's as far as that goes. And the Ram says very clearly. Okay, so that's as far as that goes. Then Lamaisa, Hayos Mikola now. What's Hayos Mikola now? Hayos Mikola now is you could learn that the Ram that 3 is definitely okay. We haven't got to Yos now yet. Okay, right. The Makropadish here is according to all these yeshuvim, right? So what comes out, whether you go like the Shach who says that it's Isra, Achila is more common than Ha, so 2 Taruvos is good, or whether you go like the Mahalach of these other Achronim, that has to be Pirish, and then Avodah Zarah is Mutter. Okay, yeah, Yesh Ladon. Pashtus, it is Pirish from the temple, right? It's coming out before it gets mixed up with someone else. Okay. Yesh Ladon, when we get to Kol the Parish, we'll speak about that more maybe, right? What?
Here's the temple in the house.
Avodah Zarah. What's that?
Pirish is a Avodah Zarah. Something Pirish in the temple still Avodah Zarah.
No. No, it's not true because we're going that's maybe to Safek.
Then it's nothing anyway.
What?
So then
No, but the cup is also a Safek in the Pirish. It's the same case as the Gemara and the Rambam. One thing. One second. Yeah, but they're selling it all the time. There's more coming in. There's the Taruvos. Right? That everyone seems to be taking on, and we read they're constantly they're filling it up and they're sending it out. Right?
Well, that's within the base of Avodah Zarah itself. They have to
Right.
Is there a supplier along the way which is getting exfiltration? Because it could be that every.
If there's a supplier, that would make it much better. But it sounds like that I can't believe like they sell it directly to. It doesn't go straight to the stores. That's for sure.
I was told that the hair is sold straight
To factories,
to wig makers in France.
wig makers.
In France.
Right. Well, they're not getting everything. It says there they list a
It
whole
goes
list
to
of
different
countries.
places in the world, obviously, but it might actually be sold straight to the producer.
Right. But Lamaisa, right.
It might not be a middleman.
But they're not getting everything, right? They're not getting everything. So there's definitely a division of the Taruvos over here. And if it's true, no, there isn't. No, we're assuming that the Taruvos, if Rav Sternbach is correct, yeah, and if we're correct, that it's not all of Azara, right? That it goes that the Makif is not Machavim for Azara, and the Nikah, some yes and some no. Again, this needs to be clarified, right? But it seems like definitely some people know, like not everybody is falling for this, right? Some people know. It could be wrong. What?
And if one makes something about it, that's not his.
Rav Sternbach, if you read the tshuva, right? Now, Rav Sternbach is the most. Rav Sternbach was fighting Sheitels 20 years before the whole thing started. Yeah, he's the most machmer, and he says it's nochal hachmer, right? Right? Because Be'ikr we're going to go after the makif.
Right? Could a guy do that?
What?
Make something about it that's not his.
The goy?
Can a guy make something about it that doesn't belong to him?
That's even more of a reason to be mako.
Ask him.
It goes after, if we're going after his kavanah, then maybe can't make it a mazara.
If a guy can't make up something about it that's
So the question doesn't start
we
then.
don't care about the Nikah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it is his. Maybe he has right because he's doing for the temple. He's a shliach of the temple. I don't know exactly. It's a bilbul, right? It's a bilbul. This whole thing is a bilbul, right? But laniach here that we have two Taruvos. Laniach. It could be not. It could be that. It could be that Rosh Sternbach is wrong, and it could be Rav Morgenstern is wrong, and it could be that Rebelski is wrong, and But from the websites, it's like not really clear what's going on. Is it a korban chatas? Is it an old? Is it shlomim? Is it toda? Is it mikvah? Is it getting ready for yontif? Get dispersed? It's not really clear. I don't know. Maybe they don't have any das. Maybe they have a dinner shultin gemurim.
The website that was written by the temple can't explain their own idol worship.
Right. Yeah. It does say like it's a present. They said, and they're going to get rich if they do it. All sorts of like interesting things are going on there. Okay, but maybe they have no das at all. I don't know. It's not clear. I remember B'Shaitel, there was a lot of hak, and there was a lot of dimyo, in Melech's of Adazara, throwing down a makal, and what's the din, and the hair. Okay, it's a hak, So, but Lamaisa, as long as you have two Taruvos, so you're in a good place.
It's machlokes if you need to be Mavara.
What?
It's machlokes if you need to be Mavara or things like.
Right. Right. Here, right, the Shach, I think, says, if I remember correctly, it's a tircha gadol, you don't have to. And
That's probably what it is.
it's a tircha gadol, yeah. Okay, so look, I think someone who wears...
This Safek is Safek of Chisar Gedil for the world.
What?
The Safek, no one knows what it is. It's
They don't know.
I'm not sure. Okay, that's a good question. For Sefeka,
You could send someone who speaks Indian to India and 2 months to that. If you
I'm not sure in Sefeka. Shmuel, in Sefeka, Deah makes a difference. Someone says it. No, but let's say it's not Mokum Shevshin. I don't know. Look, I've been personally trying to check in for 20 years, and a lot. That's not called Efshel Levar. Everyone agrees. That's not called Efshel Levar. The Shach says, but Tircha Gadol, you don't have to do it. It's definitely.
$200 for a plane ticket.
It's a Tircha Gadol, believe me. It's a Tircha Gadol. No one even suggests that. No one even suggests going to India. And you're going to have a hard time getting a minion there, Okay. In any event, right? What? Not as many? Okay, look, if anyone wants to volunteer and go to India over Bein Zmanim,
I told you.
we'll chip in, we'll buy a ticket.
I asked them to go look into it.
What?
I told you. I know someone who is there, a Jew who speaks Indian.
Right.
I asked them to look into this.
He's doing it now?
Probably not right now. I think they don't understand it.
Okay, but I'd like to see written information, Ken Zoggy,
Get one piece of paper.
yeah, he speaks to one guy, who's the guy who thinks that that the cow committed suicide and you have to
No
go.
better than the priest in the Torah.
What?
No better than the priest in the temple.
The place?
No better than the priest on the website.
Right, and the priest on the website, he sounds like he's saying that it's a job.
The person they're speaking to without any
Yeah,
words.
okay, look, it's not clear. Okay. Anyway, I'll go upon him. Tein l'chacham, v'yakim od, v'navan, v'tabul zikni. What time is it? Okay, you have 10 minutes? Okay.